Hello, my name is Charles, and in today's video, we are going to talk about kind of well-being and kind of some interesting ideas around well-being, how to be well, as it were. You see, I think a big thing in regards to kind of well-being is probably two things. I think the first is kind of like escaping escaping sort of the mental prison of being able to sit comfortably with yourself. I think there's kind of a mental prison at times when it comes to like when it comes to resisting thoughts and trying to push thoughts away and stuff things away in our minds, right? I think like there's nothing wrong with goals and intentions and commitments and resolve, right? Those things are all natural and healthy parts of our experience, and those are super wonderful. And we can have commitments to a person. We can have resolve and a goal. We can pursue things, or our partner, and whatever it may be, right? But I think like the idea that 24/7, like you need to be kind of on guard with your like on guard against your own mind, and somehow like if it thinks a thought, a bad, quote unquote bad thought, you need to control it and force it. It's kind of a big I don't know, it's kind of just the idea of like suppression, in suppression of feeling and thought. I think ultimately just leads people to misery. And suppression doesn't mean if you don't suppress that, you just go act on them, or that, you get a bad thought and here you are, you're just doing the terrible thing, without hesitation. It doesn't mean that. And it doesn't even mean that what it means is that the thoughts themselves are not a problem. And that you have courage or strength, right? That irrespective of whatever thought arises within your consciousness or within your mind, within that like realm of internality, it just is not gonna phase you. It's not gonna make you uncomfortable. And I think that is the great power, is that like you could just have any thought pop up and your chill is not gonna be, dislocated because some stray imagining came in, or some thought you didn't like. And so I think that's a real thing for well-being, is like recognizing that. And then I think the second, and I heard this last night on a wonderful podcast with Rich Roll and Sam Harris, and that is the second big thing I think for well-being is giving. Well, I guess you have to give yourself permission, but you don't even have to give yourself permission. You kind of just have to like just don't like force or control the present moment so much that you feel the only reason or time you should pay attention is when you're doing something like supposedly super significant. Like what I mean by this is like, let's say you have a goal and you want to make $1 million, right? If 90% of the time you're in your head imagining that goal and you're missing the whole experience while you're getting there, well, you only get the small, day, week, however long, like spike of joy and dopamine when you make the money. And then after, you're just back to you again. And then you know, I mean, which could be wonderful, could be absolutely wonderful, no problem with that. And then, in addition to that, like 90% of that time was spent future broadcasts, and you weren't even enjoying the experience of getting to the million. And then you look back at your life and you're like, wow, I lived, 10% with what was going on. And in reality, I lived 10% for what was going on. And 90% of the things I wasn't even aware of what was going on or attentive to the people around me. And I don't think anyone wants to wake up like that. I think people want to wake up in the reverse. I think they want to be like, I was aware of 90% of what was around me. I was contributing to people's well-being. I was appreciating the moment. And 10% were like, man, I achieved some pretty neat things, and they got a couple accolades. I think like the quality of the connection, both with yourself and with others, and the well-being you give at large, I think that's going to be far more important at the end of your life than whether or not you got the shiny trophy or the extra $1,000 or what have you. So yeah, I think those two things is just like getting to the crux of, hey, maybe enjoying the process and enjoying each moment along the way is just as important, if not more, as achieving the actual thing. I mean, we still got to do things, right? It's not saying don't have goals, don't have resolve, don't have commitments, but enjoy them along the way. And be grateful for them along the way. And then second is, it's just being comfortable under all circumstances, at least internally, right? Yeah, there's external things. There's terrible stuff going on in the world and mayhem and all that stuff. But I mean, at least internally, like, you should just have a mind where, whatever arises. I mean, the goal is ultimately whatever arises, it's not going to disrupt your chill and your composure and you're just being, Like, yeah. So I hope that helps. I think if you can get there, and the first one, when I said, like your thoughts, being comfortable with any thoughts arising in your mind, I think that's way more doable almost instantaneously. Just realize, like, being able to observe thoughts, watching their fleeting and temporal nature, being able to over time discern which thoughts to follow and which thoughts not. It's like the chatter in our skull is not the be all end all. And so I think if we can have the awareness that that there's an aspect of your being just far beyond that, then you're good to go. You can just kind of watch the thoughts come and go and be big chillin'. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope these are two important things in terms of well-being, is just appreciating the journey as you're getting there. As trite and cliche as it is, it really is. I mean, what we're doing here, and then in loving along the way, and then second is kind of being comfortable under not suppressing. That doesn't mean, just vulgarly expressing. It just means just being okay with yourself. Like, if you're comfortable with yourself under all circumstances, your degree of well-being in life will just tenfold. So I hope this helps you guys. I hope you guys are like, this was some base advice. Thank you. And so, yeah, God bless. Much love to you all, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.